is going to be about how I was successful in my early 20s. And so I have 3 things I want to just like go over that I think actually was the main reason that I did so well and essentially thrived in my 20s. So at the age of 19, this is the very first point. At the age of 19, I actually moved out. And this is the first point, and I think probably the most important point of them all, is moving out of my parents' home. So when I moved out to Oklahoma City, and I got away from my comfort. You know, like there's something about being at home and living with your grandmother. I was raised by my grandmother, and she was incredibly nurturing and, you know, kind of gave me everything that I needed. It was an incredible strong foundation, and you know, I'm not discounting that by any means, but the moment I got out of that, I found out I had to really take care of myself. I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous, but you gotta do your own dishes. You gotta do your own clothes, fold your own clothes. I clean my own room, but man, it's different whenever you're cleaning a whole entire house on your own. So getting out of that space, out of that safety that I was in, was absolutely huge for me. You know, I didn't have nobody to talk for me. I had to do it on my own. When you're in high school, you have parent-teacher conferences. You don't have student-teacher conferences. It's the parent there. They're here to help you. Let's work out a plan, because at the time, you don't know what is best for you. And so whenever I moved out on my own, I had to figure out what is best for me. Who am I? What am I supposed to do? What am I doing with this life that we call? The second thing that I found in my early 20s was finding value in my own self. I began working at this place called Computer Masters. I was just a computer tech guy, and I got into sales. And I say this job specifically, this manager specifically, the owner, he taught me how to run a business. And I don't know if it was intentional or he's seen something in me that I didn't see or I didn't even know to look for. But he began asking me to do inventory, make orders, do sales, do a little bit of marketing. How do we get different lines of our products to sell in different ways? How do I give discounts to certain clients? How do I talk to different clients? You know, there's a massive difference in all of these. How do we grow? And I actually, from that one store, we made 2 more stores within that little time frame. So I got to see 1 store turn into 2, and then 2 stores turn into 3, and buying more inventory for those places and finding my own value. And I remember the first time that I actually asked him for a raise. Like, I don't know what came over me. I was like, hey, I think I add something to this place. I feel like I have value here. I asked him for a raise, and it was funny because he actually asked me, I didn't know what to ask for. He said, how much? And it's so funny because you just asked for a raise and you kind of expect them to give you an answer. And he didn't give me an answer. He asked me, how much did I want? And I asked for a $2 raise. And I actually got a $2 raise on that same day. So that was huge. Could you imagine a young man, 20 years old, finding his worth? And so I think that's point 2 right there. The third thing, which is kind of traumatizing, that had a huge impact on my life, is that I got divorced. Got with this young lady. We got married, and within a year, unfortunately, got divorced. This is all within my early 20s. The thing I learned through that is my identity. Who am I as a spouse? Who am I as a partner? And this goes deeper than just a relationship between a man and a female, but also like, how do I work with other people? How do I be a partner with others? How do we work together and through things and hard things? It helped me also find essentially my value and character. So within that divorce, and it's like, man, am I the type of person that should be just sent off? Like, am I the type of person that nobody wants to be around or they get tired of? Man, that's a lot of thinking. You got to really, when you go through such a traumatic experience, honestly, you got to really figure out who you are. You got to know who you are to yourself, and you also got to know who you are to others as well. Which kind of brings me to a little bonus point here, is that through that, I searched who I am, and I couldn't figure it out until someone brought this up, like, hey, come to church with me. Just come to church with me. They got this cool little ministry coming through. It's just a good time. I went to the church service, and I've always been raised in what we would say a biblical means. Where I grew up was just all about this whole idea of Christianity. And I don't know if people really believed it, but they at least lived under the impression of it. But what I found through that service was that it's not about just the foundation and living a quote unquote good life, but it's also about having a relationship with your Lord and Savior. Like, where are you going when you die? Like, this place is finite. We live, we die, we see it all over the place. Nobody lives forever, no matter how much medicine and medical and health that we can do. I mean, we can probably add maybe 10, 15 years of average life, but through Jesus, through an actual relationship with Him, I can know that my life has worth. I know that although things may be happening, that I have a person that I can go to, and that this world is not just about the things that are happening to you, but it's also something you can do about it. You can pray about it, and although you don't have control over the things around you, but what if the person that is control of all those things around you is there in place for you, and maybe the others as well? So those are the main points. One was just moving out, huge impact. Everything changed from there. I got out of my comfort zone. I had to live for myself. I had to work for myself. I had to make money. I had to buy a car. I had to get an apartment. I had to pay the water bill. Huge. At 19 years old, just made that change. 20 years old, asking for a raise, learning how to create a business, watching this guy make, I don't know how much he was making, honestly, but I watched a business grow, and I was a part of it. And I was a big value add in that creation of that business. And so that was huge as well. And then lastly, although traumatizing, the divorce helped me, and maybe just you can say relationship. The third point would just be relationship. How do you take care of people? How do you take care of yourself? Who do you go to? And then finally, of course, the most important part is Jesus. And how do you have a relationship with Him? And then everything else can build upon that. There's so much biblical wisdom that we can take into our life, into our character, that we can share with others. We can have a great relationships with others. We can put it into our business. It is not just pure passivity. We need to have biblical foundations in our business, in our finances, and relationships as well. Anyways, if you guys found this interesting in any way, I appreciate y'all for being on here, joining me, and I hope that this helps somebody else. If you're going through your 20s and you're seeing this, I think it is time. If you have not moved out of your house by now, I think it's time. I think it's time for you to take that leap. Get out of your comfort zone and go and try something for your own. Go and make and create value for your own. It's so important to find value in your own self and your own work. And then lastly, build relationships with people that are long lasting. Get in there, work on yourself, because yes, even though I went through some crazy time, I'm part of it. It wasn't just the other person. I need to make myself better so that I can be a great person for everybody else around me. All right, guys, hit that like, hit that thumbs up. Also, I have a great financial community that we're getting together. Check out the link below. It's thinkwithsheer.com. You can sign up for the email list, and that will take you to another link where you can join our school community. It is a free community where I'm doing personal budgets, working through credit repair, do-it-yourself credit repair, all that, and options trading. So if you're excited about options trading, if you're trying to get into it, you're like, hey, what's this financial thing that you guys are always talking about, options? Come meet up with us for these weekly calls. I'm going to be doing Zoom weekly calls with everybody. We're going to get together. We're going to learn. We're going to get some skills. We're going to raise our value, and we're going to do it in a biblical way. All right, guys, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being on live, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.